Alright, they released the new update early in the PTR server. There's 2 new espers, but before that, let's go through some of the events that are incoming. The theme show is going to reward you with loyalty chest number 4, which is the same as the current one. For the event echo, we're gonna have Jing, which is the new esper, Tricky, Gabrielle, and then week 2, Feng Shun and Ife. Week 3, Mavis and Archibald. And then we're gonna get Celebration Collection, which is just doing Ritual, Sonic, DISLYTE, and Rift. And then we're also gonna get All Hollows puzzle. This one is just daily quest that you just collect 3x3 puzzles. And then once you complete all 9 tiles, you get all the rewards. Okay, we're also gonna get Spooky Box, which you can get spooky coins to spend to get legendary Abilimon fragments, gold records, shimmer records, and also costume accessories for Ggez, which is the red twin, if I'm not mistaken. And then lastly, Candy Clash. This is a new game mode that doesn't have any description, so not much to expect here. And then some improvements and adjustments. Improve inventory, you can now set different criteria to filter and auto sell equipments. New 5-time battle speed feature, nice. Adjusted Calamity Island, Narmer will now appear as the enemy in Burning Pillar instead of Yuime. This is definitely better because Yuime is kind of annoying to deal with. And yeah, that's about it. Okay, let's take a look at the new esper. She has a captain ability of 40% resist. And then her S1 is attacks one enemy, damage is equals to 120%, and plus 30% AP for Jing and espers with Warm Welcome. Her passive, cast at the start of Jing's turn if there is at least one other ally surviving, grants Warm Welcome to the teammate with the lowest HP for 2 turns. If Jing has accentuated, which is the Lu Shang's buff, Warm Welcome cannot be dispelled. So Warm Welcome, there's 2, one can be dispelled, one cannot. Revives the carrier upon their death and recovers HP. Healing is equals to 50% of the carrier's max HP. Expires upon the caster's death. Only one ally can have this status. Her S3 grants all allies immunity for 2 turns. Attacks all enemies and damage is equals to 95% of attack. If Jing has accentuated, espers with Warm Welcome gain a bonus turn. Again, they're kind of hammering it down to combo with Lu Shang. So far, 2 of her skills have a combo with accentuated, and even her divinate is comboing with accentuated. At the start of the barrier's turn, if espers with Warm Welcome have accentuated buff, 100% chance of applying accentuated effects. Now this is very OP, especially since she is labeled as a support. So if you run her with Lu Shang, her S3 is only going to have a cooldown of 2 turns, so she's going to be spamming her S3, S1, and then back to S3. So your DPS with 0 speed is going to get a bunch of additional turns from her spamming her S3, because it's going to give you additional turns, and then you're also going to be stacking up the accentuated buff a lot faster. This is going to be one of the best supports for Lu Shang plus R6 Elite. So if you do plan on going for leaderboard rankings, you definitely need to summon for her and her divinate as well. And then lastly, her resonance, R1 is S1 damage plus 10%. R2 is if Jing has accentuated, once again combo with the Lu Shang's buff. Resets ability cooldowns for espers with Warm Welcome. This is not espers with Warm Welcome, it's just one esper with Warm Welcome, because you cannot stack up the Warm Welcome buff. There's only one ally that can have the Warm Welcome buff. Her R4 is damage taken minus 20% before taking the first turn in combat. Lastly, her R6 at the start of combat grants Warm Welcome to the teammate with the lowest max HP for 2 turns. You don't need any of her resonance in my opinion. Even her R2. Her R2 is not really needed. You mostly just need her to be at R0 and also with her divinate as well. And also max out her 3rd skill so that it becomes a 2-turn cooldown when you run her with Lu Shang. This is her rival runes. Very fast, 275 speed with HP and speed. Now let's take a look at the new broken Shimmer at 5. She has a tire truck for her scarf. How crazy is that? Her S1 is attacks one enemy, damage equals to 40% plus 3% of her max HP. I'm just gonna call her Z. If Z has Stone Steady, performs a pursuit attack which is equals to 6% of her max HP and inflicts petrification for 1 turn. And if you guys don't remember, petrification is like a stun, but it's better than a stun because it doesn't allow you to take actions or reduce ability cooldowns. Her S2 is a passive skill, immune to petrification when a teammate takes hits during special turns, non-active turns, including pursuit attacks, counter attacks, or assist attacks, shares 70% of their damage Z's HP must be greater than 1. When Z takes lethal damage during special turns, dispels all her debuffs, recovers HP to 100% of her max HP, performs a pursuit attack on all enemies with Mountain Mover, which is her S3, triggered once per turn, and gains Stone Steady. When Z takes lethal damage during her own turns, if she doesn't have Stone Steady, dispels all her debuffs, recovers HP to 100%, and performs a pursuit attack on all enemies with her S3 and gains Stone Steady. So she has two ways of cheat death mechanic. One is when she dies during special turns, which is like Wu Yu counter attacking you, she will revive and then she casts her S3 and then gains Stone Steady. And then the other one, if she doesn't have Stone Steady and she dies during her own turn, then she will also revive and also counter attack with her S3 and then gain Stone Steady. So Stone Steady is accuracy plus 40%, heals all allies upon taking hits, which is equals to 6% of Z's max HP. Wu Yu's damage is going to be reduced by 70% on all of your allies. Now her S3, which is also very broken, attacks all enemies, damage is equals to 40% plus 7 or 8% of her max HP, inflicts petrification for 2 turns, enemies damage minus 10%, maximum 50, and damage taken plus 10%, maximum 50. Now if you guys remember when Chu Yao first came out, he was extremely broken in False Earth Fantasy because his Calamity debuff works on bosses. Now, this new Shimmer Knight 5 will also allow you to have that Calamity debuff, but it does take a little bit more stacking, right? You need to cast this S3 5 times in order to stack up to 50. So her passive each time before any ally inflicts petrification, the enemy's defense minus 2% up to 50%. This only takes effects in PvP modes. Upon successful infliction, deals true damage, which is equals to 6% of Z's max HP. Her Divinate is healing received plus 30%. Her Captain ability is HP plus 40% in PvP modes. And then lastly, her Resonance R1 is S3 damage plus 10%. R2 is when Stone Steady is active. Z takes 30% less damage during active turns. R4 is where she becomes absolutely broken. Increases the damage sharing percentage for teammates to 90%. Wu Yu is now dealing 10% damage when she counters. Her R6 is pretty insane as well. After casting Mountain Mover, S3, performs a pursuit attack with Mountain Mover again. Triggers once per turn. So she casts her S3 twice. That's so ridiculous, man. Her rival rune is the Zeus set with a decent speed, 240. Now let's look at the new 5-star Inferno and see how she works. Right now my lowest HP unit is Bai Liu Li. So her warm welcome is going to go to her as soon as she takes a turn. There we go. She gets the warm welcome, and whenever Bai Liu Li dies, she will get revived by 50% of her max HP. And also whenever my Jing casts her S3, she is also going to get a turn instantly. There we go. Oh, we can also see the effects of the 5 times speed is insanely fast. So when she casts her S1, that's going to give 30% AP to my Bai Liu Li. Boom, there we go. Again, this is going to be a very good combo with R6 Elif or any other DPS that you run with Lu Shang, because they're going to get a bunch of turns and they're going to stack up accentuated buff a lot quicker, right? That's going to give me an additional turn. There we go. And again, since I'm comboing with Lu Shang, her S3 is now on a 2-turn cooldown, because whenever she takes a turn, that's minus 1 cooldown because of the accentuated buff, because she is a support. There we go. That's a 2-turn cooldown. And then when she gets her next turn, it's gonna minus 1 turn once again. Okay, Bai Liu Li died and she got revived by 50%. And then once again, if she takes a turn, she's gonna reapply the buff. Your DPS pretty much can't die as long as she is in the battlefield and she takes a bunch of turns. She's probably gonna be good for PvP as well. Do you need to summon for her? I think so, especially with her Divinate, because then you can stack up the accentuated buff on your DPS a lot faster, even if your DPS has 0 speed. Because right now the problem with Lu Shang is when you run here with 0 speed DPS, they can't really benefit from this accentuated buff that much. You need them to be fast to get this effect quickly, right? But with Jing in the team, you can stack it up extremely fast. Now let's take a look at the new Shimmer 5-star. When she dies without the Stone Steady buff, she's going to revive. But keep in mind, the Stone Steady lasts throughout combat. It doesn't have a turn count, which means this is only once per battle. When she dies, she's gonna get that buff and then it's gonna stay on her forever, so she's not gonna revive anymore. There we go, she dies. Alright, I found a Wu Yu comp and I've brought a full team of AoE. Let's see what happens here. And we won, but I am using R6 Sakura. But let me just see how well she does right here. I just want to see how much damage Wu Yu is going to deal to me. And my units have like terrible runes right now. She couldn't even kill Yuime with defense break and seer debuff and calamity debuff. Look at that damage. She took 0 damage. She did die though, but it's fine because she's still sharing 70% of the damage. So my allies are taking like negative damage from this. And when she has that stone steady buff, she's also going to be healing my allies by 6% of her max HP. Okay, she died right here. But, no wait, she didn't even die. Oh, I forgot. It's because when she doesn't die through active turns and instead from special turns, she will still revive even though she has that stone steady buff. So if you take a look at her passive right here, when Z takes lethal damage during special turns, she will revive up to 100% of her max HP and then perform as a pursuit attack with her S3, and then she gains stone steady. So it doesn't matter if she has stone steady or not, as long as she dies from special turns, which is mostly what Wu Yu comps is, right? She will not die. Alright, here's another Wu Yu team. Let's see how well we do against this one. There's also R6 Lian. Okay, we lost. But I just want to see how much Wu Yu is dealing to my team. Look at that. My champion has 0 HP and she still is not dead. She's not dead. That's insane, bruh. She had like 10% HP and then Wu Yu did her full counter and still not dead. But yeah, I think the problem is the true damage now. Because whenever your allies do an attack, they also take true damage from Wu Yu's passive, right? And that's not going to save your teammates from Z's passive, where she shares the damage. She only shares the damage during special turns. So the true damage is still going to be a bit of a problem to deal with. Alright, here's another Wu Yu team. And we lost again. Yeah, you still need to have like a decent team around her. Because she's not the DPS of the team. You still need your, designated DPS in the team. And the team that I'm running right now is absolutely trolling. I'm running Yuime. I'm running Xuanpin. I'm just trying to maximize the AoE damage of my team just to see how much damage Wu Yu would deal to me, right? And it seems like Wu Yu is doing like negative damage to me. She's barely killing off my 10% HP Xuanpin just now. So yeah, that's about it. These two espers are going to be absolutely insane. The new Shimmer F5Z is definitely going to be PvP meta. And I think she's also going to be very good in PvE as well because of this plus 50% damage taken. And then this new unit is definitely going to be very good paired up with Lu Sheng plus your other DPS, so that you can stack up the accentuated buff a lot faster. That's about it. Ciao.